We're back again.
We're back again.
Back again.
You know how many just country rednecks have been devastated to learn that our intro song's a rap song?
Suckers.
I mean, people being like,
We're just trying to...
what is this? What is this devil's music?
Just trying to culture people.
That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to give people a little bit of culture.
It's a solid song.
No, it's a great song.
Like, I don't... So the other day when
From the lion's mouth.
I was transcoding, all of our old stuff to get it up on Carbon and everything.
Yeah.
You don't know how many times I've heard this song.
It's this song, and then then our outro, our devotion song.
I get tired of that one. I would say I get more tired of the
one that talks
outro,
about Jesus,
the Lord. Yeah, this one talks about Jesus.
No, it does. It does. But why do you think the outro is more?
I think more often I skip
the devotion
song
part. You skip the part that has scripture. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it gets that part, and I just start double tapping the screen. Double tap, double tap.
10 seconds.
15 seconds.
10.
Yeah,
Skip
yeah.
ahead 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That seems about like something you would do, Adam Carter.
Freaking Christians.
I tell you what. So this has been our theme song, our intro song.
Forever.
Since season 4.
Was it 4 that we got?
3?
I mean, it predated me.
Yeah, because I
was
actually
4.
edited. So yeah, season 3.
Because I've kind of edited
11
this song
years.
a little bit for the intro.
11 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
So.
We still got to get Tadashi to come on the show.
Yeah. Didn't you say you connected with him at one point?
I did. I did connect with him, and I mean, me and Tadashi have done some events together, and he's actually wanted to come on the show before. He's wanted to come and do like a pig hunt, and then because he's an Islander, right? So his family has got Samoan.
Yeah.
And so he talked about doing like a pig in the ground, like a whole barbecue, which I've always wanted to be invited to the barbecue.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't
you know what I mean?
Invited to the barbecue.
I want to be invited to the barbecue. It's a big deal.
It's a big
deal
deal
for
big deal.
a guy that's as white as me.
Yeah.
And so I want to be invited to the barbecue. So we were going to do it ourselves and just have him show up.
Yeah.
Do a hunt with us. But anyway, so I connect to his manager, and his manager we just I don't know. I need to fall back around.
Yeah. No. It would be interesting to see. I mean, if not anything else, just to talk to him. Like, you realize we've played your song for 11 years straight.
Yeah, and I think we shared this story about how I came across that song.
Mm-hmm.
Was that before we moved to the Edmond, Oklahoma area, we lived in Sulphur, and I would fly a lot when I was doing speaking engagements out of Dallas. And a lot of times I speak on a Saturday night, and I'm home on a Sunday morning, and I went to church at the Village.
Mm-hmm.
My boy, Matt Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
And went to the church of the Village, and they were talking about a worship or an album that people within their church, musicians in their church, had put together, and that was they played that song, and it's by Isaac Wimberly, and Tadashi's a guest on it, and I was like, this is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is legit. And I ended up reaching out on Twitter to Isaac.
Yeah.
And I got permission verbally.
Yeah.
They haven't sued me over it. So
no one's been mad yet.
We just continue to use it.
No one's been mad
yet.
yet.
And then our outro song,
mm-hmm.
right? Can you sing it for us?
Satan, your king must come down.
Satan,
your kingdom must come down. I can't remember the rest of it. I'll block it out. I heard the voice of Jesus say, Satan, your kingdom must come down.
All right.
Boom, boom, boom.
So that actually is a public domain song.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that's a public domain song.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So it's been recorded by several people over the years. I think maybe like Eric Clapton did it.
Really?
Maybe Johnny Cash has done it.
Maybe we
And-
could mix it up. Get like the different artists to do it.
Nah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've got permission from Dutton
Yeah.
to use their
Is Dutton
version.
still a band?
They're not. They're
Yeah.
not. They're not a band anymore. We were
They're not
great
together.
though, weren't they? Back in the day,
I remember.
man. Super Summer.
They played
Dutton,
Super Summer
they-
2 or 3 times,
They
didn't they?
did. They were great.
They did. It was really
I
good.
think I'm trying to remember the lead singer's name. I'm friends with him on social media, and I think he's either in real estate now or financial advising.
I thought you were going to say something like, he's in real estate, or he's like, selling tamales. It's going to be something just...
We'd be a lot closer friends if he was.
It
selling
would. It's like,
tamales.
yeah, I've invested in the business at this point.
Yeah, I would have invested in that business 100%.
An investor.
When I was on staff at the First Baptist Church in Allen, Oklahoma, which, by the way, was as close to the threshold of hell as you could be as an on-staff church member. Not because of the church. We went... I took the job, and then... I'm glad that wasn't open yet.
Yeah, I haven't opened it yet. I might as well just...
Get it? Oh, the sizzle. Man.
That was a good one.
That was really...
Makes you kind of jealous, doesn't it?
It does a little bit. I'm over here drinking water today.
That's what I should be drinking right now.
It's good. I took the job at First Baptist Allen. I was 18 years old. Scared to death. Had a great pastor, Reverend Buddy Johnson. And I was excited to sit under Buddy and learn. And 2 months after I took the job, Buddy left. And I was the
Sayonara.
only staff member at the First Baptist Church in Allen, Oklahoma for 2 years.
2 years.
I was, as an 18 and 19-year-old kid, I was the only staff member
That's fun.
at the church. And not only was I doing that, I was also a full-time college student, and I was playing college football. I had zero extra time for anything.
You were doing no things.
And it was horrible. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was horrible. I got to see the unfortunate sides of church
Yeah.
that staff have to deal with sometimes when it comes to the politics of stuff sometimes. And I'll just be honest, it was hard. That was a really, really, really difficult time. I remember we had a professor from Oklahoma Baptist University come in as an interim, and a super nice guy, was a fairly good teacher, not a great preacher.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We on the same page? 'Cause
Yeah.
those are two different things,
Yeah, I'm with you.
right? He was not dynamic probably in the pulpit, but put a solid message.
Mhm.
But just he didn't have a super great delivery.
Yeah.
But it was solid. It was fine. I was happy. And
More
looking
like
for
a professor.
He was a professor. He was
Yeah.
a professor. That's what he did, and he was probably really good at that.
Yeah.
But we voted for him to be an interim after not having anybody, people filling in, me filling in.
Mm-hmm.
At 18 years old, trying to kind of felt like I was really trying to hold the fabrics of this
Yeah.
congregation together in a lot of ways. And I remember we voted on him to be the interim, and it was like 36 yes and like 13 no.
Ooh.
And
That's rough.
he accepted
Yeah.
and came, and I had one of the older deacons in the church walk up to me after that service and ripped me. Ripped me. And he said, I know that the youth are the ones that voted no, which there was no raise your hand vote. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a ballot vote.
Yeah.
He said there were 13 no votes, and
How many of the youth voted?
It was a Sunday night. I think we had 11 kids there.
Yeah, but what was like the age?
Because
that
we
they
were
could
going to
vote at?
Mazio's to eat pizza afterwards.
They was just there.
I
they
think
could go
if
to
I don't
Mazzio's.
remember what the cutoff age was. I
I
mean,
know
you didn't have
ours
to be
right
an
now is
adult.
16.
I don't remember what
Yeah.
it was. But there were 13 no votes, 11 youth. So his assumption was it was the youth kids, and then he ripped me for my poor leadership and ridiculed me over that in front of people.
Yeah.
Mind you. And I just remember being like, this is crazy. And I remember, afterwards, I had this guy, his name was Kenny. And Kenny walked up to me afterwards, after the whole thing. And people kind of found out what had just happened, that old Wayne had ripped me over this.
It's always a Wayne.
It's always a Wayne, bro. It's always a Wayne. Anyway, rips me. And one of the guys, he came up to me and he goes, well, me and my wife voted no. He's like, yeah, I can promise you it wasn't just youth kids. He goes, I voted no. I thought the guy's horrible. And so anyway, it was brutal. And after he comes in, he's our interim, and he did bring some just stability to things. We finally decide we hire someone. We're just talking about. I don't know why we're talking about the ugliness of church here, but here we go.
Fine.
Right? This is my therapy session.
It speaks
These
to
are
everybody.
Things that happened to me.
It speaks to everybody.
These things happened to me 30 years ago. Let's talk about it.
This is a safe space.
This is a safe. It is.
Safe
Matthias, our last podcast, shared some things that I probably wouldn't have shared.
That's fine.
He was sharing about diarrhea at the Tabernacle at Falls Creek.
Yes,
Apologizing to the guy in the stall.
That's a
next to
meme.
him. It is. It is. But anyway, so we ended up getting resumes. I mean, it's not a job that, you know what I mean? Like, hey, do you want to move to Allen, Oklahoma? They did have a nice parsonage.
Yeah.
But do you want to move to Allen, Oklahoma, move your family, relocate for $28K a year? What are you hooting about? When I found you in the gutter at New Church making $19,000
I know. I didn't
a year.
have a family though. I could have, like, when I was making that $18K a year. At that point in time, I felt like I was rich.
Yeah, you did. Hey, listen, bro. When I was at First Allen, buddy, and I was
loaded.
Listen, bud, I was making, part time at First Allen. I think I was making like $600 a month, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
loaded.
I mean, bro, it
making
was like,
it rain.
I was hitting that Chinese buffet like 3 times a week, bro. Like I was rolling deep, man. Like that's big time money.
I remember, like that. I remember that amount of money.
My kids would be like, man, why are we broke? And I'll be like, 'cause of you. It's you. You're the reason we ain't got no money.
Yeah,
you're the problem.
Yeah.
Like I spend all my money on you.
Yeah,
travel baseball. $2,300.
Yeah.
Soccer, $2,400.
Yeah.
Like what are you talking about? I just had to buy. Had to go buy a football helmet.
$300.
$350 on a foot. It's like you're the reason I'm broke. It's your fault. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we finally get a guy. Go through the process. I'm not on the search committee, but we get a guy to come in view of a call. He's married, got 2 kids, shows up, kind of a younger guy, probably like maybe 35.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first things one of the most distinct things, he's a little short guy, and he had a colostomy bag.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he had a colostomy bag. And I remember him making references like, I could be up here preaching the sermon and pooping at the same time. Well, he said that. I was like, that's super weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know. How
I'm uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable, But anyway, so we call this guy, and he had some no votes again, but he takes the job. And I did honestly feel this giant weight off my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little weird because his first name was Brad too.
Yeah. So people had a problem with him or you. No one really knew exactly who he was talking about.
That's right. Old Wayne had a problem with all of us.
I just generally don't like Brad.
I just don't like Brads.
But
anyway, so we hire this guy, and I remember it was a relief because I felt like a bunch of weight would be lifted off of me. and all the things that my responsibilities. And I remember our first day in the office, and our secretary, her name was Carla. And so Carla was part-time, and I was part-time. But it was the first day in the office, and I remember getting there early, sitting in my office, and he comes in.
Did he tell you he was taking a dump right now?
No, he did not. But he did look at me, walk in, turns and looks at the trash can, and goes, "These trash cans need the trash taken out. You handle that," and then walked into his office and shut the door.
That was the first thing he said to you?
First thing he said to me in the office. And I remember being like, well, we do have a janitor that comes and cleans the church. It's not my job.
Power move,
right? Anyway, the guy was there. Gosh, maybe 6 months, maybe not even 6 months. And anyway, ends up making an inappropriate pass at a woman in the church. Guy's wife, kids, gone back to visit family. He basically makes an inappropriate pass at a woman who was in her kind of late 20s in our church. Really the only bright spot from adult ministry in our church was that this woman got saved, and I baptized her.
Yeah.
And he makes an inappropriate pass at her on a phone call. Basically says, like, "I'll leave the door unlocked. You just come over." Hangs up the phone. And guess who she calls?
Brad.
19-year-old me. Calls me, and she tells me what happened, and she was like, "Oh, we can't, he's just here. We can't say anything, like, And
yeah,
I'm like,
we
no.
can.
I'm like, no, we can't do this." And so anyway, I call the chairman of our deacons, Wally, not Wayne.
Definitely didn't call Wayne.
Wayne's like, "We're getting rid of all the Brads." Anyway,
he would have thought you were talking about yourself.
Probably. So it took.
You were confessing.
It started the process, and it took about 4 or 5 weeks, but we fired him. And I thought, and at that point, I'm like, I'm done. Like, dude, I'm done. This has been literal hell. This church that I got saved in, I was baptized here. It was my home church, and I thought, I'm done. Like, this is horrible. And I get a phone call probably about 3 weeks later from a guy who's on the search committee at Silo Baptist Church in Durant, where Buddy Johnson, my original pastor,
He had gone.
Yeah. And they were starting the search for a new youth pastor.
There you go.
And he asked if I would submit a resume, and I'm just like, man, I cannot imagine, like serving on a church staff anymore. And then Buddy called me and said, "Hey man, put your name in. I think this would be a great fit for you." I ended up getting hired, and I was able to sit with Buddy for 2 years and heal.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I sat and cried in his office.
Just sat and cried.
Oh, Buddy. That was a horrible experience.
Oh,
But I share that because there's so many people out there that have had a bad church experience. Like bad church experience. And they allow that bad church experience to... Satan uses that.
They let people affect their view of God.
Yeah, and I always say, and I have to remind myself of this, I've been through, there's been a couple ugly church things that I've walked through. We recently had, in the last couple of years, we had a staff layoff at our church, and it was handled very, very poorly.
Yeah.
Very poorly. I went to our church leadership about it. I voiced my concern, said there's better ways to do this. This is very corporate, and voiced my concerns on it, and it was handled poorly, and we have suffered greatly because of it, in numbers, in relationships, in view of how we're viewed in lots of ways. But I have to remind myself, and I have to say this, and I say this often, we can't be surprised All right. When the church is made of imperfect people. And I always say this, if you ever find the perfect church, don't join it, because if you do, you'll ruin it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no such thing as a perfect church, because it's made up of imperfect people.
Yep.
I'm not perfect. Not even close. Man, I've made mistakes. I've done things that make me...
Just lots of mistakes. Horrible mistakes. So many.
Yeah. We all... I'm imperfect. And in my imperfection, am I still a member of the church? Yes. But there's no such thing as a perfect church, because it's made up of imperfect people. Me being top of the class, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Top of the class. And so, I can't let that be a crutch of the things that I've experienced, and those bad moments and those hurts keep me from going to church, because I should go to church not because of who sits to my left or to my right. I should go to church because Jesus asked me to. Mm-hmm. I have the privilege to show up on a Sunday and to worship Jesus because of what he's done for me. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's a privilege, because here's the deal. Does God need me to do that?
No.
He doesn't need me. He says, if you don't show up and sing and worship me and praise me, he goes, the rocks in the parking lot will do it for me.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need you to do that. But what a privilege it is. When you are not needed, I say this a lot too. When you're not needed, yet you're allowed to participate, that's called privilege.
Yeah.
And Jesus does not need me to show up to church on Sunday and worship him. He doesn't need me to do it. Like I said, the rocks in the parking lot will do it for me. He tells us that.
Yeah.
But it's a privilege to be able to go and to worship him on a Sunday. And I do that not because of who sits to my left or to my right. I do that because of what Jesus did for me.
Yeah. And it makes a big difference when you start to realize that the church is full of broken and infallible people, or broken fallible people. Because if we have this idea that everybody that's there is supposed to be perfect, it changes the way that you view the church. It changes the way you view everybody else. People aren't perfect.
They're not.
They are going to, if you go to that church because of a pastor, he's going to let you down eventually. If you go to a church because of a small group leader, he's going to let you down eventually. If you go to the church because of your friend that goes there, he's going to let you down eventually. The reason that you go to church is to glorify God. I mean, the principal thing for our entire life, everything I do is to glorify God. Mm-hmm. Everything I do. So the church gets caught up in that because it seems like this place, and like that idea with legalism creeping in and all these things of like, I have to be perfect. It's like, well, no, Paul says it's like, I will boast all the more gladly in my weakness, because in my weakness, Christ's power is made what? Perfect.
Yeah. Like,
my weakness is what allows him to shine brightest, because he shines through me. It's like that when we get so caught up in trying to be this perfect thing, then it's just setting ourselves up because we're not meant to be God. We can't be God. The church gets caught up with that a lot. And unfortunately, people do pay the price of it. And it's the most difficult thing to see, and there's a lot of church hurt. But
there is a lot of church hurt, and I hope all this makes you feel really guilty about skipping through the devotions at the end of the episodes.
Well, double tap, double tap, double tap, double tap. It's actually 5 double taps, and I'm usually out of it by the end of it. I've got a time.
About 50 seconds.
Time to a science, yes. No, it's what's funny is I've often thought about, it's like we make this 30-minute show so that we can make a 2-minute devotion. It's when you think about it at the end of the day, it's the reason. It's the device. Are you trying to
make us feel guilty?
No, I'm not. I'm saying, like,
what are you trying to do here?
When we do,
what are you saying, Adam?
When
what
we
are you saying?
And this is what I get. So I have a couple youth kids right now that they're like, I don't know what God wants me to do with my life. I'm like, what's the desire?
Bro, I'm 42 years old. I don't even know.
Like, what's the desire of your heart? What do you find? What do you enjoy doing? It's like, well, I enjoy playing baseball. I'm like, then play baseball to the glory of God. Like, and it's the whole principle of the As You Are Going Ministries stuff. It's like, as I go through my life, God there's nothing short of sin that God can't use to glorify His name in my life.
Man. Yeah.
It's like he could glorify His name through every aspect of my life.
You know, Matthias was just on the podcast, and you know he's going into his junior year of high school. Like it's like, all right, buddy, like we got to start having some conversations about what are you going to do? And he loves baseball.
Yeah,
like he loves baseball. Actually, yesterday at a summer league had a practice yesterday, and at that practice afterwards, the coach was like, he asked everybody. These are kids. He goes to school with some of these kids, but a bunch of them he doesn't. And they said, Coach asked, he goes, who is the hardest working teammate you have? Who works hard? And he said, every kid on the team said, it's Matthias. And I say this all the time. Like, if I had Matthias's work ethic, you would know me. You would not know me, bro. You would not know, because I don't look like it now, but, bro, I was freaking good at football. I was good at it, but I didn't work hard.
Mm-hmm.
None. Like, my work ethic, garbage. I mean, I was bigger. I was bigger and stronger and faster than most people, and I just got by with that. I played Division II football. If I would have had Matthias's work ethic, bro, none of y'all would know me. None of y'all would know me. Like I mean that because if I would have worked hard, who knows?
Yeah.
Right? But I did not work hard, and that kid works hard. But Matthias's goal, he's always, I want to play college baseball. I want to play baseball in college, and so it's like, all right. So Matthias is very gifted when it comes to academics. I don't know. Maybe he's not my kid. From that aspect,
it's
he's
back
very
to the work ethic thing.
It's the work, yeah, exactly. He's got the work ethic. He's really smart. I don't know. Did you know that Allen, Oklahoma had me speak at their academic awards banquet one time? And they gave me a plaque.
Slim pickings.
They gave me a plaque afterwards, and I said, this is the only time I was ever awarded
for my academics.
At an academic.
My academic prowess award.
Yeah, the only time I've ever been awarded anything at a Allen academic banquet was when you guys had me come back and speak. Because I promise you I didn't win any academic awards when I was in high school. But Matthias is very, very smart. As a freshman in high school, made a 22 on his ACT, like a 28 in math, a 26 in science. Like, he's really, really smart. But he's like, I love baseball, and he says I would really love to he's kind of come up with what he wants to do. And I appreciate Matthias is very solid in his faith. He loves the Lord. He's a great kid. And he said, I want to go to college. I want to play baseball. I would love to open a baseball facility. I would love to have a place where I do private lessons, and I also coach travel teams. And that's my ministry. Yeah. But it's faith-based. It's faith-driven, and that's what I want to do. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll invest in that. Yeah. I'll invest in that.
I mean, he sees an active pathway to discipleship in his life that he wants to pursue, and that's
through a passion of his.
How can you make disciples? It's like, I love baseball. I can use baseball to make disciples of Christ. Exactly. It's like baseball's just the lure at the end of the fishing rod.
It's just the avenue.
It's just bait.
It's just bait to get there.
Yeah.
And so coming back around, finaldescent outdoors, our mission has been from day one, use the common ground of the outdoors to be able to share the gospel. And, man, we've seen 6,000 people come to know the Lord. Yeah. Think about that.
It's a lot.
Allen, Oklahoma has 1,500 people in it. I'll save my hometown.
The whole thing.
4 times.
Nailed it.
Anyway, church hurts, I know, keep a lot of people away, and maybe you're listening to this today and you're like, man, this is a lot. Like, there's been a lot of hurt that have happened. I've seen things. I just want to remind you that the church is not perfect because it's filled with imperfect people. There's not a perfect pastor. There's not a perfect Sunday school teacher. The church has deacons named Wayne.
They got Waynes
who can be jerks. That happens sometimes, unfortunately. So, anyway, other good news. I'll switching gears to a positive, because we've done 30 minutes of kind of depressing.
We were making up for. It's not depressing. It's your story was kind of depressing, but it ended up with good ramifications. Like you ended up getting good healing. You're here where you're at now. Your work ethic sucks. We learned those things, all those valuable lessons.
Yeah, it does.
Valuable things.
This whole thing was just built out of luck. There was no work ethic involved.
Just fortune.
I picked you up out of the gutter, buddy.
Gutters.
Picked you out of the gutters when he was making $18K a year.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you left me?
I did.
You left. You went for the money. You did. You literally said, "Go where the money is. God's everywhere."
That's what my there was a Craig Smith.
Yeah,
it's the first person I heard say that. Actually, either that or it was Tommy Haynes. Either one of those.
Yeah, go where the money is. God's everywhere.
God's everywhere. Just go get the what you need to take care of yourself. But that wasn't the reason for leaving. Mainly because I just saw the work ethic and was out.
Shut up, dude. You went and almost died.
I did work my butt off.
You almost died. You know, there were stints that we didn't speak to one another for like 3 months.
It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. A lot of work.
Would you do it again?
I mean, that's the problem is, like, would you change anything in your life that got you to where you're at now?
Well, you back to where you were?
Well, if I was going back to where I was, but where I'm at now, it's like the butterfly effect. Like, if I change one thing there, does that mean, like, I don't meet Casey and don't have the kids I have?
You were already married.
Well, I'm just saying, what if something happens? Like, what if it's like a butterfly effect? What if it, like, is a cataclysmic change that alters the rest of your life? Like, if you go, like, people are like, I could go back in the past and change this one thing. What if that one thing was the catalyst that affected the rest of your future? That's like a microcosm for the rest of your life. It's deep.
Just say, Brad, I would have left you anyway. I would have left working with you.
Why?
It's what you're saying. You're just trying to sugarcoat it.
No, I would have left anyway, because that's what I felt like God was leading me to do at that time. And then it changed.
So you feel like you still feel like, even though that was, speaking of threshold of hell,
yeah,
it's close to it.
It was tough. There was a lot of hard times, but there was a lot of good things that came out of it too. There's a lot of experience that came out of it, but there's also a lot of things that would have been nice to have done without.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, it's like we talk about. Do you trust God or not? Like, do you believe that He uses everything to work together for the good of those who love Him or not?
Yeah.
Even the trash. Even the garbage, even the trash cans need to be taken out guy. even that stuff.
Colostomy bag.
The old colostomy bag, dude. Even that stuff will work together for the good.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually. And in the moment, I mean, it's Philippians 4:13. It's like, that's not about ability, it's about contentment. It's like, am I going to be content with what God has me do? So, like, would I change it? I guess not, no. Because He used that to get me to where I'm sitting right now. If it wasn't for that experience, would I be sitting here right now? Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe we'd do more podcasts if you hadn't left.
I might still be at New Church making less money than I was making then. Maybe they would have given me an opposite raise.
13.8.
We got an opportunity for you to serve the Lord yet.
It reminds me of that Will Ferrell, the Horrible Boss skit where Pierce Brosnan is interviewing for that In-Flight magazine job.
Oh yeah,
and he ends up killing Chris Kattan.
Yeah,
with I have been lifting weights and doing cocaine all day. I am ready to fight you. Yes, yes. I love it. I am literally going.
That is the kind of motivation that we're looking for.
Oh yeah. That's okay. Well, that's good.
That was all good.
Good conversations.
Good. And I came over this morning. I arrived. Speaking of coming in with all the things. This morning came in with my whole crew to the house.
You got all 3 kids.
Got my youngest daughter, Addie Faye, who's my feral child, and she has a serious obsession with your daughter, Ava.
Mm-hmm. No, say her name right.
Ava.
Ava.
That's what she calls her.
That's what Addie Faye says.
And on the way here today, she asked if we were there yet. It had to be at least every time a mile marker passed us. Are we there yet? Are we going to be there yet? Are we going to be there yet? Are we at Ava's house? So they're all...
Ava was excited for Addie Faye to come over, and Josie, both. So you got both your girls, and Hurley's here. Hurley was here yesterday as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so we've got,
they got a full house.
It's a full house in there. It's a full house. That's why we got like 70 pigs in a blanket in there.
They were delicious.
They were good.
It's really hard, and it's one of those things you pop it and you're like, I'm full, but then like it kind of starts to fade, and you're like, I'll have another.
Yeah, they're small.
It's
like
another dainty little bite.
Yeah,
another dainty little nibble.
30 of these can't hurt.
30 of them. That's a lot of sausage. Like if you were to take all of those little tiny beanie weenies and then smash them all together, how many sausages would 30 of those equal? I mean, would you have eaten like five whole
like
bratwurst
sausages? You talking about like brat?
Like a brats?
I'm gonna say you're 1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you say like
it's probably
six or seven of them is equal? 7 per. And then each one of those things has got like a half of a crescent roll on it or something?
Yeah.
I mean, you're eating a stout meal.
Yeah, I probably would have eaten this morning. I probably ate. Oh, man.
I know I popped about it. I ate at least 7.
I ate at least 7.
At least 7.
And I had a cinnamon roll.
We were there. I didn't do the cinnamon roll, but I did. They're good, but they do. Now I do feel like I want to go to sleep. I did not sleep very good last night.
You don't ever sleep very good.
Especially not last night. I did not sleep very good last night at all. I don't know what the deal was. My brain was just running about nothing that was important at all. Just deciding to stay awake for no reason whatsoever, but all things that are good.
I got my Cane's Post Malone cup. Drinking my water from
Cane's. He's obsessed with Cane's.
He loves Cane's. Post Malone's a Cane's fan. Yeah, he's a big Cane's guy. Did you know Post Malone is a big gun advocate?
I did know that.
Yeah. Actually, is a big fan of Fort Scott munitions. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got pictures of him with some Fort Scott ammo. Actually, but he does. You can go online and find him doing like some 3-gun shoots.
Yeah.
The dude's actually really good. You know who's really, really, really good doing like 3-gun competitions?
Please don't say Frankie.
Oh my God, you couldn't do that. He's got gout. My neighbor Frankie's got, that cat has so much potted meats and and adult beverages.
Well, if he'd stop sending me pictures of briskets that he's made, then he would maybe recover from some of that gout problem. He needs to start drinking some black cherry juice every day.
Maybe those Jack Daniels black cherry.
Something like that.
That's probably as close you're going to get for old Frankie. Man, I could tell so many Frankie stories, especially 4th of July Frankie stories because we're right here. But
yeah, it's time.
I don't want to ruin his opportunities of employment.
Oh.
I'll just say this. He slept at his mailbox one time. On 4th of July.
Oh, man.
I don't remember why I had to get up super early and leave, but at daylight I got up and Frankie was...
He was there?
He was asleep at his mailbox.
Oh, my gosh.
We were burning. I will say our neighborhood does 4th of July very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Solo. You know what I mean? Southern Logan County. Hey. And there's no rules here. Like, there's no, like...
No.
There's no law here.
Oh.
What you gonna do, law dog?
Hell, I mean, it's like Logan County and Lincoln County. Both those two are.
I mean, they're
right there together.
It is what it is.
They're right there together.
And so, we blow a lot of fireworks are blown up here, and he had we bring burn barrels to the front and burn all the leftovers. And
sometimes they're igniting in the barrel.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
they do. There'll be always a missile or two that launches out of that sucker. But you got a fire going, and Frankie made a decision to sleep at his mailbox to keep the watch the.
The only reason why.
That's it. That was the only.
The only reason why.
Out for everybody's safety.
Yeah, he's just a community servant.
Yep. Frankie's a community guy.
Just a community.
Yeah,
servant.
Me and him, we both got. He has a Kubota, Great Plains Kubota tractor. And when it snows, I broke out the old GP tractor, and he's got his tractor. And guess what, buddy?
Oh, community servant.
Community servant, buddy. That snow's packed up at the end of the street, man. We clear it.
You push it down to the end of the entrance, like block everybody.
We push it. We do both. So there's a pilot on each end.
It'd be funny the next time it does that one year, just to make an ice wall.
Just build up a
stand there with a donation bucket.
Yeah,
like, you want through?
Well, I can move it for you.
This diesel's not going to pay for itself.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm president of the HOA, so
you're kind
could
of
bill myself.
Obligated.
Could bill myself, but I'm not doing that. Anyway, I have no idea how we got on that little tangent.
How do we get on any of the tangents? How does any of it start? It just kind of, there's not ever a topic. There's not ever anything. It's just hey, turn on the mics and hit the record button.
We literally just turned it on and we started talking. We've never, unless we had a guest, and not even counting Matthias, that we've really gone into it knowing, hey, we're going to talk about this. When we had Boomstick on, we knew we were going to be talking about golf. And we were going to be talking about Brett Will.
Yeah.
When Brett was on, though, that was completely unscripted. We had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
No clue what was going to happen. Anyway, we do so... Obviously, we talked this last time about some major changes for Final Descent Outdoors.
Yeah.
Leaving the Pursuit channel, also leaving Wild TV in Canada, which we've aired there a couple years now as well. Walking away from those networks to do a streaming service. And just what we found was that as just feedback from viewers is that, we were just more and more people going, well, I don't have satellite TV anymore. I don't have cable TV
Yeah, they're not able to watch it.
And we saw that. Like, we were seeing, especially from our feedback from people. And so I was like, we times have changed. We need to change. And I have just been really, really impressed with Carbon TV.
Yeah.
The people there. And it wasn't initially this way. When we first started messing with Carbon TV. When they first come out, it's new ownership now, new leadership, new people, all that stuff. But when it first came out, it was a shared revenue service.
Yeah.
So they would advertise inside of our show, and we would split the revenue off of it. That's how it was supposed to work. And so when they first came out, we put one season on there. I can't even remember what season it is. Season 8? Do you know what's already there?
7.
Season 7. So, golly, I mean, we're talking 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So 7 years ago, season 7 is on Carbon TV. And they never paid us.
Yep.
And I was ticked, bro.
Yep.
They owed us, not a lot of money, a couple $100, but it ticked me off because they were supposed to pay us and they didn't pay me.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, had a bad taste in my mouth towards Carbon TV. And they'd reached out to us several times and said, hey, we're under new ownership. And then Jules McQueen, who's the president, CEO, was like, hey, love for you to come over. And then we had that sit-down meeting with them, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It's time. I mean, it's time. It's scary.
There were multiple times we just sat down and had these long conversations of going like, should we do it? Because it's new territory. But at the end of the day,
and I think that's the only part of it that's scary.
Yeah,
is that it's just new, and anytime it's new, it has potential to be scary, and that's where we are. It's a little bit scary because it's new.
But what's nice about it is like we talked about it, and the reason that we do the show is because we want as many eyeballs as we can on the message. Okay, the show, like we said earlier in this podcast, is a device.
Yeah.
It's a device to communicate the gospel. It's a device to deepen people's relationships with God, or maybe just cue something in them that puts them back into church. And if we're not on a network where we're getting the most eyeballs, we need,
what do we
even
do?
if it
Yeah,
is scary,
what do we
we need to do? We need to do what we need to do to try to press into that. And it makes the most sense.
So here we are.
Here we are.
So season 14 of Final Descent Outdoors, which is production is well underway for. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be new. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
New platform for us. Super excited about that. I think it's gonna be really, really good. And obviously we bring a ton of content to Pursuit. Or from Pursuit over to Carbon TV.
It's really crazy when you see like the list that I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
Like when you see it all in front of you, you're like, oh
man,
my gosh.
We have done, Adam, we've done 100 and...
It's lots. Like that.
Are
it's
we
so
150
much.
episodes?
It's a lot.
I guess it's simple math.
Yeah.
Here
we go.
Yeah, it's simple math. What's 13 times 13?
$169 episodes.
Wow. So our first episode of season.
After this season, we'll be at 182.
So season 14, episode 1 will be 170 episodes that we've done.
It's wild.
It's pretty crazy, man. That's pretty crazy.
That's
crazy to think about. Yeah,
of episodes.
That is. That's a lot of episodes. You know what we need to do? We need to go back. Can you do like a remaster of season 1?
Season 1 remaster. Do you know where season 1 is?
Yeah, it's a hard drive over there.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's probably like 480p.
That's the whole point of remastering it is so you can have it to where it's.
Can you do that?
Oh, there's upscaling apps and all kinds of things like that.
I may have to look into it. There's some buttes over there, bro.
Buttes.
Oh gosh.
Buttes.
My part is the worst.
Your contribution.
My contribution as the host was bad. It's bad. I had no idea what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I'm up here like, man, today we're gonna be in Marietta, Oklahoma, hunting hogs with my buddy Wes Kane. Like I mean, no clue. Horrible. No microphones. I mean, wind blowing in the. It was bad.
Everybody's got to start. You got to start somewhere.
We did, man. We did. Communicom Cable, Channel 12.
Communicom Cable, and here we are today. Digital.
Yeah, we still do air on local KSBI here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
we're going to continue to air locally here and do that. But from a national standpoint, streaming it, maybe you can just go and binge watch.
Well, I think that's kind of cool. It's what I like about it is not only can somebody watch that, but they can watch it at any point in time, any day of the week, and if they want to watch it again, they can, and it doesn't cost them.
We need to have Jules on an episode.
Yeah, it would be fun to have her on.
She's an Okie.
Oh yeah, I remember we talked about that.
She's from Tonkawa, Oklahoma.
Tonkawa.
And so this is what's crazy. My senior year in high school, we lost to Tonkawa in the state football playoffs.
Yeah,
and she was there.
She was there.
Yeah,
I remember us talking about that.
Yeah, she was at the game when my high school career ended against Tonkawa. We lost 33-0. They went on to win the state championship, and that was the closest playoff game that they had all year. It was 12-0 at halftime. And we had 3 punt return fumbles.
That's hard to overcome.
We were really good on defense.
That's really hard to overcome.
Buddy, when you give them
3.
You give the number 1 team in the state, inside
good
the
field
30,
position.
inside their 35.
I mean, you pretty much put them in the red zone.
Pretty much putting them in the red zone because we fumbled 3 punt returns.
That's rough. That's hard to overcome.
Just botched it. Just pressure in the moment. I'm not going to say that kid's name, but his initials are Jesse Anderson.
never going to be lived down. If I know anything about you and you're like, I'm not going to say his name,
He's
I'm
a
like,
good kid.
he's going to say his name.
He's a good kid. He's a good guy. I can't say he's a kid. He's 40-something years old.
He's my age.
He's a year younger than me. He did have a horrible leg fracture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had a horrible leg fracture. Which was just
like bone sticking out kind of thing?
Which was like punishment for what he did. I'm just kidding.
It's like he paid for it.
I'm kidding. No, he had a horrible, the year before, actually had a horrible leg fracture in a game, like multiple places fractured. Like, not bone sticking out, but...
Well, no wonder he couldn't catch a punt.
I don't think it had anything to do with it. You don't use your feet for catching a punt.
It's balance, stability.
Anyway, that's going to end up back to him. And he's going to be
like, remember?
I saw him somewhere. I saw him at a baseball game. He's got kids that are going to be somewhere around Matthias's age, and I saw him at a baseball game one time.
And we're like, hey, I talked about you.
I talked about you on a podcast. I sure did.
Fun.
Remember when you dropped them punts at Tonkawa? One of the most intimidating high school football stadiums, especially for a small school. Their old gym is next door.
Oh,
and they're the
really?
Buccaneers, the Tonkawa Buccaneers.
So they're shooting off cannons.
They were. They had like they made it look like an old like pirate fort.
Oh, really?
There's like fire burning in each of the like a, what do you call those? A torch.
Yeah.
They had torches burning in the windows. This old gym, and on the roof they had like cannons, and it was super intimidating. It's super intimidating. They'd shoot the cannons out over the field, and the smoke would billow down. I mean, it was cool, dude.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was cool. I thought we were gonna beat the absolute piss out of these kids. They were not big. We were big.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 255 pounds. You know, defensive end, stand up end. You know, we go like next to me is like 230 D tackle. You know, 260, 200, and then like 210 defensive end. So our offense, I mean, we were big. I mean, our defense.
Your five front's not joking around.
Our five front we were big, and they liked to run the ball, and we were physical. And their biggest kid was probably 220.
Yeah.
You know, like they were not big. Their offensive line was all probably about 200-pound kids.
Yeah. And
I remember going, man, these guys are number one, undefeated, you know, all this stuff. And our first play, we kick off to them, you know, hold them, got them, you know, maybe they're starting at the 25-yard line. I don't remember where they were at. And they said, down, set, and I got hit.
They're just in your chili.
They come off the ball, dude. I mean, them kids come off the ball. And their team speed, even off the line. Right. They weren't big. They're just fast, and they'd hit you.
Yeah.
And so he said, down, set, he didn't even get the T out before their offensive line hit you.
Wow.
And it was a good physical game, but, you know, like I said, that's where my high school career ended, and that's where Jules McQueen of Carbon TV's from.
There you go.
So need to have her on as a
get her on
and
talk some Tonkawa football.
We do. We need to have maybe we can get Kendall Jones to come back on. Get caught up with Kendall. Man, you talk about life changing. She's doing very, very well. She's slowed down a little bit probably on the hunting side of things. Anyway, but she's doing good. I don't know. And then we have some things happening new for us too. Maybe we just tease this a little bit, and then because I think Cal's going to be here. Maybe next week.
That's a possibility,
and we'll just have to do a podcast together.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
But we do have, outside of obviously doing Final Descent Outdoors, we do Full Strut Media, and we are producing another TV show.
Another
hunting show.
Not another hunting show.
Not another hunting show. It's not even close to a hunting show. No. Summarize it for us, Adam.
We are following around this cool lady. Her name's Cal.
She's way cooler than us.
And we follow her around. So far, it's just been through
Kalina,
Texas. And we are going around to these communities where she is spray painting these very large murals.
Yeah, something like 30 by 50.
Very, very large murals. But while we're there, we're filming just her interact with the town itself.
Learns the history of the town, cool things to do in these towns. And so basically the show's called Cal's Hometown Revival, and Cal gets commissioned to come to these towns to paint, and she goes around, learns the town's history, what cool things to do there, visits with people in the community, and then takes all that information to create what the mural's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we film that process, and so it's kind of like Dives, Diners, and Drive-Ins meets Fixer Upper
meets Chip and Joanna meets like it is very much so not anything like we've ever made before.
No, but it's been a lot of fun.
But it is a very uplifting and fun show that showcases.
It's so positive.
Yeah, it showcases what we love, which is these small towns.
We're small town guys. I'm originally from the big town of Raiden, Oklahoma. I had 6 kids in my kindergarten class. You live in Wellston now.
I live in Wellston now.
I live in Fallas, Oklahoma.
Well, technically it's still Wellston, but it's closer to Fallas than it is to the actual Wellston town proper.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that we're passionate about, and we like the idea of seeing these small towns kind of burst back into the scene.
And October 1st, we are debuting on Destination America by Discovery.
Yeah. So
so super excited about that.
And we will see how that all shakes out, how it goes. We think it's going to be very successful.
We have 6 episodes that we're doing, and we go into it's just going to be good. I think people are going to love Kalina. She's bubbly. She's just kind of got that like it factor of like making you feel wanted.
She just is. She's just fun to be around.
Yeah, she's fun to be around,
and she comes across that on screen. She seems very genuine. And I mean,
she's
really
an incredible
is what you see is what you get.
She's very much so that. She's got some hippie in her.
Yes, she does.
As you would expect from an artist. But she's also an MMA fighter.
She also will beat you.
And she has hit me really hard multiple times.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see it coming. I didn't expect it. Like the leg kick. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how people do. Like you kick me in the shin,
just right in
the
thigh.
I'm done. It's done, bro.
No.
Like you dead leg me with that sucker. I'm done. I don't know how they do it. They're a lot tougher than me. But anyway, so that's exciting. We got that coming up too.
Yeah.
So we'll save going into more detail when Cal's here maybe next week and we can do a podcast with her.
Yeah, there'll be plenty to talk about with that over the course of the next few months when that all starts to roll out.
Yeah, so we'll save that. I think today was a great podcast. We dove into some very deep things early.
Well, it's
talking about church hurts.
I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Oh, not at all. It was good, and hopefully, today maybe you're out there and you're going, you know what? I have had some rough experiences with church, and maybe you're not plugged into the church the way that you need to be for whatever reason, and you're going, hey, that needs to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's probably a good place to. Now we've got my youngest daughter coming here to help sign us off. Addie Faye.
Come on in here, Addie Faye.
Come here, Addie Faye.
Walk around that table over there. Look at yourself, Addie Faye. Come check it out. Look at this hair, everyone. Hey, can you say hi into this microphone? Hi.
Hi.
There's Addie Faye. Addie Faye, thank you so much for coming to my house today. Have you been having fun with Ava? You have been? Perfect. That's wonderful. And now there's my daughter, Ava, wondering why you had escaped. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. God bless you. And we will see you.
Can you take a bath? I guess so. I guess so.
All right, you go get bathed up.
Sometimes you just.
I've sat next to Adam before, wishing he would take a bath.
It's not a lie.
We've slept in the same bed together, going, God, I wish this guy would take a bath.
Well, you sure
did. Oh, Mexico.
So you sure didn't get far enough away.
Mm-mm.